Holy shit, grab your sick bags and buckle up, people, because Art the Clown is back and I have all the gory details. My name is Chris, this is Big Fat Colt, and here's my spoiler-free review of Terrifier 3. Let's go.
We'll see you in court.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's delicious. Oh my God!
First up, if you're new here and you like all things movies, TV, horror and pop culture, make sure to like and subscribe for loads more. So you know the drill by now, this is the third in the franchise of Damien Leone's practical effects filled gore splatter slasher films about an evil, sadistic and little goofy clown played to perfection by David Howard Thornton. In this one, perhaps the most consistently brutal of the three, we get the best of both films with some high concept elements and some balls to the wall, brutal, horrendous carnage. Most importantly, we get Art as Santa, and this makes this a brilliant addition to the Christmas horror catalogue. Lauren Lavera and Elliott Fullam are back as brother and sister Sienna and Jonathan, teaming up once again to try and battle evil, and Samantha Scafidi is genuinely terrifying and sinister as Victoria, Art's hellish sidekick. In fact, the general scary vibe has been taken up a notch with this film, along with the gore, so it is a lot. It also feels nastier than the other two films in my opinion. Whilst this delivers the usual cartoonishly over-the-top gore as well, it also gives some very grim, bleak and shocking moments that for me are even more effective. This is the closest we'll get to a big screen modern grindhouse exploitation movie, and there are plenty of nods to other horror classics, with an iconic shower scene being just one. The film opens on a horrendously bleak scene that will definitely be a decider on whether or not you want to keep watching, and this is where there have been reported walkouts and vomiting, along with at least two proper jaw-dropping gore scenes that will turn even the strongest of stomachs. And whilst yes, it is very gruesome, most importantly this film is a lot of fun. Here's a little clip I did from a recent interview with Damien and Elliott before the UK premiere with a little bit more info on the film.
This one is maybe the darkest one, believe it or not, in the franchise. I wanted to go back tonally to the feel of part one, because part two got very sort of fantastical and it was brighter colors, a different tone, and I just wanted to make sure we didn't go too far into that direction before it's too late and we start to lose ourselves and forget what got us here in the first place. So it's grittier, it's a little more disturbing, but still very fun, and it has perhaps my three favorite Art the Clown moments, which are hysterical. I tell people, if you were just walking by the theater and you didn't necessarily know it was playing, you might walk by at any given time hearing the audience howling and thinking there's a comedy playing. And I think that's one of the fun things about this franchise, and it kind of sets it apart. In one instance, you could be throwing up, leaving, fainting, right, horrified, and then the next you're laughing your butt off. So it's a good time.
That's awesome. And you talked about the fact that there is comedy in there, but it's not an obvious horror comedy, but there are moments where there are big laughs. How, as a writer director, do you kind of balance those tones and get that mood right? Do you go in kind of knowing what all those beats are going to be beforehand, or when you see the performances, does that kind of elevate that? Yeah,
it's a combination. You know, with this franchise, I never set out to make a movie this funny. Because growing up, and I gravitated more towards straight horror movies, very dark, sinister ones. Although I loved Evil Dead 2, Return of the Living Dead, I love horror comedies. But this one, it just sort of became organic with the Art the Clown character. We just started finding that levity naturally, especially once David came on board, and I started seeing how sort of quirky and theatrical he could be. But even the more graphic the films got, the more I wanted to inject that levity into it, because at the end of the day, I wanted this to be a fun experience for audiences. I didn't want them leaving these films feeling very bleak and miserable about existence, But yeah, no, it's I write these gags for the most part. It's in the script, but then once we get to set, I allow everybody to improv and play, and we're figuring it out and seeing if we can pull more levity out of the situation. So it's a fun collaborative process.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel for the full interview coming very soon. The whole cast are fantastic in this, with some brilliant ensemble roles, including Chrissy Fox, Chris Jericho and Clint Howard, but it is the fantastic dialogue-free performance from David Howard Thornton that really steals the the show and sells the creepy, brutal and fun of these movies. There is a lot of skill in bringing laughs and fear from just your physicality and facial expressions, and this is perhaps his best performance as the character so far. The story does get a little muddled, and tonally it can sometimes feel a bit disjointed and all over the place, and I had a little trouble keeping track of who was who and what was what, but this is nonetheless exactly the movie the fans will be hoping for and expecting, and with a fourth already confirmed and on the way, it shows that the Terrifier movies are absolutely thriving. This is a love letter to the classic slashers with a fantastical, depraved and darkly funny edge. Pop on your novelty sunglasses and soak up the guts, because Terrifier 3 is a messy riot. Make sure to like and subscribe for loads more. Let me know what you think of Terrifier 3 and the franchise in general, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.